Welcome back, dear friends. Today we're diving into a topic many men struggle with, often without realizing it. A lot of frustration in dating and relationships comes from repeating the same patterns and ignoring warning signs. In this video, I'll show you the 7 things you should never do with women if you want to protect your peace and avoid unnecessary emotional stress. I'm Lady Saphira, and if you find value in my videos, please like this one and subscribe to the channel to support the work I do here. It truly helps a lot. Let's begin. Many men invest a lot of energy into women only to end up frustrated or disappointed. And it doesn't have to be that way. There are things you should do, or should not do, with women to protect yourself from manipulation, from mental stress, to stay true to yourself, and to save your energy for what truly matters. It's about how you, as a smart man, maintain your inner peace and avoid frustration. And I'm going to show you 7 things that will help you do exactly that. And one thing is very important. You do these things for yourself. In the end, they benefit you the most. This video was inspired by the channel Your Wing Ma'am. I've already reacted to some of her videos. I find her channel very interesting. Feel free to check it out. A smart man does not ignore warning signs just because a woman is attractive. A very important point. And yes, men don't like to admit this, but some really do switch off their brains the moment a woman is extremely pretty and has a nice figure. I don't need to tell you how often I've seen this happen. Of course, attractiveness affects you. That's biology. But if you turn your brain off just because she looks stunning, you might pay a high price later. Many men clearly see the red flags, but they talk themselves into believing everything is fine because they think, I will never get a woman like this again. Yes, that may be true. But in my opinion, it's not worth ignoring all the flaws and problematic behaviors today just to end up disappointed and frustrated tomorrow. And then your friends will tell you, we told you so. Example, you notice very early that she always blames others when something goes wrong, whether at work, in friendships, or in everyday life. Instead of taking responsibility, she constantly looks for someone to blame for her problems. And this exact dynamic can later lead to major frustration in your relationship, because she will also blame you for everything. That is clearly the beginning of an unhealthy relationship. Your good judgment should not be clouded by her looks. And if your inner voice tells you, this will be exhausting, I would listen to it, no matter how beautiful she is. I would really advise, especially in the early getting to know phase, to separate a person's appearance from their character. Ask yourself, would I still be interested in this woman if she looked completely average? If the answer is no, then remember, beauty does not replace emotional maturity, loyalty, or respect. Your peace depends on who you let into your life, not on how she looks. A smart man does not allow himself to be manipulated with intimacy. Intimacy is powerful, and because it's powerful, it can be used or abused. Some women use intimacy, or the withdrawal of intimacy, deliberately to gain control, steer conflicts, manipulate, get something they want, calm situations down, apologize, distract. You name it. And this isn't always malicious. I don't want to say that. People know each other and understand the dynamic, but it becomes unhealthy when you continually lose control over when closeness happens, when you're no longer the one deciding, but the dynamic between you decides. There are so many movies about this, but the truth is, you can protect yourself from this kind of manipulation. Do not make yourself blackmailable. Don't allow yourself to be exploited or disappointed because of your own desire. If you feel intimacy is turning into a form of currency, a reward, a punishment, a pressure tool, then set a boundary. Real desire comes from mutual respect, not from power games. A smart man does not let himself be mothered just because it feels comfortable. Many women have a strong need to take care of someone. It's part of their nature, and it's incredibly valuable for humanity. And it is nice and flattering when your partner takes care of you. But in a relationship, it's important that the care goes both ways. If you constantly rely on her care, if her help, her guidance, her support becomes something you depend on all the time, then you slowly slip out of the role of an equal partner. She will unconsciously lose respect because she no longer experiences you as an equal, but as someone she has to manage. Some women cannot help themselves. They always manage their partners, constantly checking that nothing goes wrong. And yes, this kind of care can feel nice and comfortable. But comfort can easily turn into weakness. Let her take care of you, but only to a healthy degree. Carry your own weight. Do not make yourself dependent on her caregiving. A smart man does not try to answer a woman's emotions with logic. This is half ironic, but very true. Not always, but in most cases, if a woman reacts emotionally, she is not looking for a logical solution. She wants to feel understood. She wants support. Or she needs a stage to express the emotion. Logic often has no place here. Instead of losing yourself in explanations or justifications, remain calm. Acknowledge what's happening. Protect your energy without creating more drama. Do not open up too early and too deeply. Before some people misunderstand, of course, emotional openness is important. No one can carry everything alone. Many women say they want their man to open up more, show vulnerability, talk about insecurities. Maybe you've experienced this yourself. You shared your worries, your fears, even cried. But then a strange phenomenon happens. Women often feel uncertain when a man opens up too much, too early. It feels wrong to them, even if they can't explain why. Example: you've been dating for a few months. During a lovely dinner, you start talking deeply about your fears at work, past childhood insecurities, worries about the future. She listens, she nods, but inside she wonders, is he strong? Is he stable? Can he handle life? That's the effect of sharing too much too soon. A well-known couples therapist says women often tell her, "I don't feel safe when he doesn't open up, but I also don't feel safe when he does." Women want a man who is a rock in the storm. Yes, openness is welcome, but only when your inner stability is also visible. Share when trust, stability, and respect already exist, when you are a team. And if that moment hasn't been reached yet, then honestly, you don't owe vulnerability just because she wants it. Vulnerability can be used against you later. Oversharing rarely works in your favor, and I am fully aware that this can be a very difficult balancing act for men. I also admit we women can be complicated, sometimes contradictory, and I don't exclude myself from this. One moment a woman is happy, the next moment she is stuck in a loop of insecurity or anxiety. Women often worry about things long before they even happen. Yes, that's just how women are. Men have their own problem zones too. But if this balance is broken too early or too intensely, it can trigger doubts or a sense of insecurity in her. That's why I would say it's all about timing. The better time to share things, if you feel the need to reveal weaknesses or insecurities, is when trust, stability, and respect are already established. when you know each other well and truly function as a team. Even then, it can make her unsure, as Lori explains, but she fundamentally knows she can rely on you, because she has seen your strength again and again in many situations. Sometimes this moment simply hasn't been reached yet, when trust, stability, and respect are not yet established. And then, honestly, I don't think you have to open up just because the other person wishes you would. Vulnerability makes you exposed. It can be used against you or misinterpreted later. In the worst case, a woman may leave a man because in her perception, he seems less stable. Oversharing is the English word for this, sharing too much too soon, and I think it's a perfect expression. If you are aware that opening up too quickly or too intensely may not work in your favor, you can protect yourself from potential disappointments. You protect your own emotional stability, and you remain the man who is present, reliable, and above all, authentic. A smart man does not try to save or heal a woman who needs emotional rescue. This may sound unempathetic at first, but a smart man does not try to save or heal a woman who is emotionally unstable or deeply wounded. I've seen this many times in my environment. It might sound cold or insensitive, but you are not responsible for solving her problems, fixing her emotional wounds, or pulling her out of a dark place. Only she can do that, and if needed, with professional help. I know some men find it tempting to think they can solve all her problems, erase her insecurities, or pull her out of a hole. Some men feel honored to be needed and throw themselves into this role, and I understand why. But by doing that, you make yourself the carrier of responsibility for things that are not yours, for emotions that are not yours to fix. This is not a question of empathy or indifference. It is self-protection. What you should do instead: know the limits of your role. Of course, support her if she asks for help. Be present, listen, show empathy. But you do not carry her emotional baggage and make it your own. Everyone brings a backpack into a relationship with unresolved childhood issues, past experiences, emotional patterns. That is normal. But it is not the partner's job to unpack and fix all the emotional knots inside that backpack. A man who tries to rescue or heal a woman often becomes emotionally overwhelmed himself over time, and then neither of you benefits, because the downward spiral pulls you both in. You help her in the only healthy way, by giving her space to take responsibility for her healing. And by doing that, you help not only her, but also yourself. A smart man does not try to guess a woman's thoughts or predict what she wants, because often she does not even know herself. Women frequently shift between emotions, needs, and expectations. Sometimes they want closeness, then suddenly distance. Remember the point about oversharing. The reality is, women often move in an emotional flow that is not always logical and can change completely throughout the day or depending on the situation. If you try to figure everything out, decode every mood, interpret every silence, you will end up stressed, confused, and caught in unnecessary misunderstandings. Instead, go with the flow. Stay present. Observe. Listen. Ask directly if needed. Stay authentic in your reactions. All these things you do primarily for yourself and for your inner peace. Agreed? If yes, leave a like. And thank you for watching.